Not even then, at that moment. She refrained from slamming the door shut. She didn't close it completely at all. It lingered halfway ajar, as though intentionally allowing a breeze to persist. It seemed she harbored uncertainty about whether she truly desired to return. A message rested on the countertop, not scrawled by hand, but produced by a printer. I still remain unsure why that specific element disturbs me most profoundly. Emery, avoid overanalyzing this. I simply require a weekend to organize my thoughts. Kindly refrain from contacting me. And that concluded it. No reference to affection, no mention of her return, no assurance of a discussion on Monday or expressions of immediate longing, merely a predetermined absence. I remained stationed in the kitchen for a full 60 minutes. I didn't budge, not even when the refrigerator emitted that gentle click, signaling the imminent activation of the compressor. I merely gazed at the message, hoping it might spontaneously generate additional content if I persisted in observation. By midnight, I had consumed 2 cans of generic beer, the majority of a sizable family bag of pretzels, and contemplated every conceivable rationale. Perhaps she felt burdened by excess. Maybe she sought a respite. Possibly, I had become too demanding or insufficiently so. I've been accused of both. Subsequently, I erred by activating the family tablet, the device primarily employed for online shopping groceries, and viewing culinary tutorials we rarely attempted. She had neglected to sign out. Her browsing record appeared entirely current. Indeed, as recent as that very day. How does one arrange a secluded cabin on short notice? Is it common for extramarital partners to form lasting unions? What occurs if I lack affection for my spouse, though uncertainty persists? I proceeded with scrolling, despite my stomach ascending toward my esophagus like a creeping insect. Then I stumbled upon the image. She had captured it facing a mirror in an unfamiliar setting. Her visage remained obscured, yet her non-phone-holding hand rested upon another's chest. And that individual was unmistakably not myself. I have no recollection of setting the tablet aside. I solely recall my hands trembling uncontrollably, not from apprehension, but from a fusion of fury and incredulity. The sort of quiver experienced when an internal aspect begins fracturing gradually. I rose to my feet, traversed the living area in repetitive circuits, then resumed sitting, repeating the cycle incessantly, as if physical motion could impose logic upon the scenario. The timestamp on the photograph corresponded to earlier that afternoon, precisely when she mentioned preparing her diary and outdoor boots. However, in the reflective glass, she donned a smooth fabric gown, one I was unaware she possessed. The individual, anonymous and bare-chested, encircled her midriff with an arm, suggesting familiarity honed through innumerable repetitions. At that juncture, my mind transitioned from bewilderment to an exhaustive cataloging. Observations previously ignored began surfacing. The absence of the fragrance vial from the bathroom ledge. Her crimson charging cable, essential for travel, vanished from its storage space. A recent bill for gasoline, edibles, and a wine container lay atop the surface. Nothing transcendental, no mindful pursuits, just provisions for an excursion. I accessed the messaging application. My heartbeat pounded against my ribs, as if seeking escape. A conversation marked with nameless identifiers existed. I did not activate it immediately, instead, directing my attention elsewhere. Absent any anomalies until I reached the concealed images directory. Additional visuals emerged, not explicit in nature, but conveying closeness. Her mirthful expression in the passenger compartment of an unidentified vehicle. Her elevating 2 caffeinated beverages in a roadside inn washroom. Her planting a kiss on someone's shoulder, accompanied by the label, "Ultimately Authentic." ultimately authentic. I lingered there, re-examining that phrase repeatedly, akin to deciphering an archaic oracle not intended for my comprehension. I failed to remember shedding tears, yet upon drying my cheeks, my cuff bore wetness. She presumed I would remain patiently, dim lights illuminating a melancholic film while she sought self-discovery. But her departure did not pursue introspection. She departed to abandon me, and that transformation was imminent to unfold. On the following morning, sunlight ascended as if unaltered by events. Avian melodies resonated. Garbage collection vehicles rumbled beyond our residence. The neighbor's canine barked at the breeze, implying the universe endured intact. Yet I did not. I occupied the kitchen table, fixating on my Java beverage as if it held counsel. Each ingestion merely evoked the essence of deception. I could not cease ruminating on the caption beneath her image. Ultimately feels real. What constituted our preceding 7 years then? A preparatory phase, an anteroom, a simulation, until a superior candidate emerged in a reflected portrait. By midday, I had explored the tablet's remaining contents. I initiated the nameless messaging exchange. It originated from a disposable phone number. Nothing archived, though the communications remained intact. Lighthearted, flirtatious, and utterly crushing. I informed him I needed a weekend in solitude. You're fully mine now. I regret not encountering you prior to my marriage. He's pleasant, yet exceedingly tedious. I experience vitality alongside you. There it materialized. My character summarized to a singular derogatory remark. Tedious. I might have captured screenshots, transferred the correspondences to my own device, but I abstained. A definitive shift occurred within me at that instant. Not violently, simply conclusive, like a leaf turning, irreversible retreat impossible. I did not phone her. I did not challenge her. Conversely, I opened our mutual banking platform and inspected the funds. She had yet to withdraw any. Satisfactory. I assembled a travel satchel, exclusively my belongings, devoid of collective recollections, visual records, or tokens from commemorations that evidently held lesser significance for her. I secured my passport. I updated every possible access code, including electronic mail, cloud repository, and even the food delivery account. Perhaps vindictive. Yet I had concluded being the stationary figure. Prior to departure, I performed one final act. I retrieved her message, refrained from overthinking, and appended 3 terms beneath it using a red writing tool. Nor did I. Subsequently, I positioned the tablet adjacent to it. Display active, photograph visible. Permit her to uncover it through accidental discovery, mirroring my experience. I did not slam the exit upon leaving. I neglected even to secure it. I surmised she would grasp the intended communication shortly. The outdoor atmosphere at dawn felt unusually frigid, and I embraced it. The sensation on my skin served as a reminder of my continued presence, vitality, and aptitude for sensations beyond numbness. I lacked a strategy, solely a full petrol tank, a partially filled luggage, and a profound quietude uniquely borne by the deceived. I operated the vehicle devoid of audio entertainment, lacking a planned route. Road signs flashed by as if inscribed in an unfamiliar dialect. Every intermittent interval, I checked my mobile device, partially anticipating a communication from her, vague and controlling, such as "cogitating about you," or "hoping your condition remains favorable." Nevertheless, silence persisted. Not immediately. The realization struck midway through the second service station. She would not inquire about my welfare. In her perception, obligation was absent. Mentally, I remained domestic, unsuspecting, lingering foolishly, while she enacted her weekend liaison amid rented accommodations' draperies. This comprehension, agonized as it proved, bestowed upon me an emotion absent for an extended duration. Lucidity. I entered a modest highway lodging establishment approximately 3 hours distant. It carried scents of disinfectant and fractured vows, yet provided internet connectivity and a securable entrance, thus acceptable. I perched on the bed's brink and gazed at the partition, contemplating all I had overlooked, her abrupt enthusiasm for spiritual withdrawals, the sporadic evenings spent at her companion Kendra's residence, the manner in which she gradually ceased embracing me during slumber. This was not novel. I had merely been overly enamored or trepidatious to acknowledge it. Then, my device emitted a notification, a solitary correspondence from her. Hey, proceeding smoothly? 12 hours into her independent venture, she already probed, assessing if I maintained the dutiful spouse persona, the foreseeable emotional mat. I declined to reply, not from deliberate frigidity, but from tiring of predictability. For the inaugural time in years, I ceased lingering. I progressed. I permitted her communication to linger unread, not fueled by malice, but owing to nothing residual to articulate. Any potential utterance would emanate from a version of myself she had already eradicated. The individual who uttered, I comprehend, when undeserved. The one endeavoring to rectify irreparable matters. That persona had departed, or endeavored to do so. I dedicated the evening perusing rental property listings, seeking locations sufficiently remote for exile sensation, yet proximate for unobtrusive vanishing. I avoided confrontation. I craved separation. Genuine separation. Not the fabricated variety she requested while stowing intimate attire and falsehoods. By dawn, I located one, a waterfront chalet in a neighboring 3 municipalities. It was affordable, unrefined, yet splendidly vacant. I committed to 7 days. One selection, devoid of wavering. Then, I executed an action I never envisioned. I deactivated my mobile. That tranquility. Initially, it felt tumultuous. Habit dictated pocket verification, sensing illusory vibrations from an undesired realm. Yet by cottage arrival and bag placement on the bare flooring, that stillness transformed entirely. It signified serenity. A fractured reflective surface atop the hearth evoked memories of our restroom. Except here, no requirement to divide the image with deceit. I earnestly regarded myself and perceived an individual who had contorted extensively to foster another's contentment. He had relinquished upright posture awareness, and then enlightenment dawned. She would not fret. Not presently. Presumably, she envisioned me brooding domestically, journaling, potentially viewing melancholic films, anticipating her dramatic reappearance. But I didn't anticipate. I observed solar ascent through a misty aquatic pain, consuming inferior brood stimulant, and envisaging an existence excluding pre-speech tone verification. An existence where I was not an incidental in my matrimonial arrangement. Disembodied, she engaged in pretense, inhabiting illusion with a male unaware of her quietude comparable to mine. And I commenced realizing this ceased being my concern. 3 days elapsed. No telephone summons, no door rap, no irate inquiry regarding my whereabouts. That void corroborated pre-existing understanding. She did not pursue me. She occupied herself pursuing him. I envision her perceiving an impeccable cover, the flawless spouse, the flawless weekend reverie. I had embodied my script impeccably, deeming me inert. Yet another individual perceived my absence. On the 4th day's dawn, while strolling near the waterway's boundary, I reactivated the device. It vibrated aggressively, not originating from her, persistently absent, but from her sibling, Talia. Her missive abbreviated. "Are you all right?" Nola stated, You've behaved unusually. No contact received. This deviates from habit. Unusual. Thus she characterized it. Not sorrowful, not aloof, merely unusual. I delayed response, remaining in the cool atmosphere, reperusing those expressions repeatedly. Temporarily, I desired to vocalize loudly, not attributable to Talia's dispatch, but her adeptness at continuing the charade. She did not merely revise her narrative, she edited mine covertly. When I eventually messaged Talia, I affirmed wellness, then inquired cautiously, "Did Nola disclose her weekend destination?" Talia's retort: she mentioned Vermont for a contemplative session, yet her account seemed inconsistent. For what reason? Accurate. I revealed not being at residence. Nola departed, so I opted to depart as well. I withheld specifics, providing only sufficient for appropriate concern ignition. And then, transformation occurred. Talia telephoned, her tone subdued, wary but efficient. She imparted information dismantling the final vestige of denial I clutched. "I am uncertain of your receptiveness, Emery," but an acquaintance spotted her at a lodge beyond Ashgrove. She was not solitary, undoubtedly not a reflective escape. I solicited no further. Unnecessary. Already cognizant. Yet the most impactful aspect transcended infidelity confirmation. It involved recognizing that while she preoccupied herself, assuming my non-existence, another retained sufficient care to detect my muteness. For the inaugural instance since her exit, I ceased feeling imperceptible. The lodge's furnace produced a subtle rhythmic emission as it acclimated for sleep. I resided in stillness, palms encompassing a container of microwaved chocolate, gazing indiscriminately. My mobile rested face down on the bedside table. I wished no additional communications. Risked experiencing elements pulling me back toward her, yet this endured briefly. Approximately 10:42 p.m., her designation illuminated the display. "Hey, returned. All in order?" That represented everything? No, I longed for you. No, eager for reunion, solely an impersonal, unemotional vitality check, resembling return from provisions, not falsehood-fueled faux withdrawal. I refrained from answering. 30 minutes subsequent, another dispatch arrived. The dwelling feels chilly. Appears peculiar sans you. When do you return? Peculiar, without me. As if my non-presence posed the issue, not its causation. I nearly chuckled. Alternatively, I navigated my image gallery and retrieved a capture from earlier in the week. The tablet display enduring open. The portrayal of her within another's embrace. My scarlet pen additions to her mechanized message. Nor did I. I forwarded it. Without annotation, elucidation. She viewed it instantaneously. The confirmation indicator,